Hey everyone, Roger Haskett here, talking to people in a pandemic. And what we're talking about today is engagement is not a spectator sport. Active participation is needed. Let's go to the standing cam. So, so this is one of the things that I'm finding is super challenging in our digital world, and something that we spend a ton of time thinking about and working towards, which is this idea that because we're living in a digital world, that we have to give up on engagement, that we have to sort of go, oh, well, we're behind screens and people are in their living rooms and they're working at home. And, you know, engagement is just not going to be as strong because of these things. And I just think that we have to fight back against this idea. Engagement has never been a spectator sport. I believe the active definition of engagement is that it is active participation. You're engaged in something when you are actively participating in it. Now, I'm hired to do virtual MCs and virtual keynotes, and through these digital platforms now. And so it is extremely important to be thinking along the lines of how do we push engagement into these experiences. One of the things that I love to do when I'm on a stage interacting with a room, whether that room has got 17 people in it or it has 1,000 people in it, I take what limited time I have. Let's say I only have 45 minutes or an hour and a half. These are all limited times to me. I take what limited time I have, this extremely valuable time, and I use much of it to create conversations in the room. The best way to learn is through active participation. The best way for you to learn is for you to be actively involved in your own learning process. So even when I was on stage, I used to fight back against the idea that when you're on stage, you're just broadcasting. You're just talking at people. And I always argued and worked towards creating conversations, so that an engaging conversation, so that no matter what, people were able to talk to each other about the ideas that were in their heads, so that they could explore and expand. And what I would term, they would lock in their learning. You might not know this, but 80 to 95% of what you hear in a broadcast type of meeting, discussion, or not a discussion, a broadcast situation where really someone is talking at you, like I am right now, 80 to 95% can go in one ear, out the other ear, fall on the ground, never to be remembered again. So we have to figure out how to build engagement, active participation, so that people are actively involved in their own learning, so that we can turn that 80 to 95% of lost value into a much lower number. When people get actively involved in their own learning, that number decreases to like 50, 40, 30%, meaning that 70, 80, 60, 80, 90% hopefully of what has actually been presented to them is being absorbed and not left on the ground. This is what I spend so much of my time on stage making sure is happening. This is why when I am finished, I get testimonials galore saying, this was amazing. It was life-changing, and it was so engaging. It was so involving. People felt so involved, like you were having a conversation with them, Roger, as opposed to just talking at them. So talking at people is extremely easy to do in a digital experience, isn't it? Because we have very limited means right now to create more conversation. So we spend tons of energy and time figuring out how to make conversations more present in our keynotes and in our emceeing than they were, and or that they normally are in a digital world. So to keep this short-ish, too late, is to keep pushing the envelope in terms of creating an experience that is engaging, so that it draws people in and they are involved themselves in the process, as opposed to sitting passively behind a screen. So everything we can do to create more conversation, to create more discussion, to create more of an interactive experience and less of a broadcast experience is what we want to move towards. All right, I'm Roger Haskett. We're talking to people in the pandemic, and we're talking that engagement is not a spectator sport. You have to be involved, and active participation is absolutely necessary if you want to get the most out of your meetings, whether they're digital or live or hybrid. All right, that's it. I'm Roger Haskett. Talk to you later. Hey everyone, I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to watch this, and please like, subscribe, and share so other people have a chance to come in contact with this information as well. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.